At Room to Room, there's no need to wait. Black Friday deals are going on now.
Discover our gift shop full of treasures, Peter's Pottery, Votivo, and Tyler Candles, kitchen essentials, and more. All in stock now.
Room to Room Tupelo, where we know there's no place like your home.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Good evening and happy Tuesday here to all North Mississippi. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor for Mississippi Live Weather at 5. We thank you for joining us this evening, keeping us as your information whenever it comes to the wide world of weather here in North Mississippi. What are we tracking tonight? Well, there's a few storms up north that could bring some inclement weather for our neighbors up north, but not going to be happening here. Down here, it's primarily just the gloom. And Matt will be joining us live in the gloom coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But what we're also tracking are those isolated chances this evening as that frontal system progresses more into our neck of the woods. And as we get further into the week, those rain chances really start to climb, and that might time out for your Friday night football games as well. We know it's playoff action here in North Mississippi. We don't want rainfall. Well, we've been pretty blessed this season, and it seems like that blessing might be coming to an end as we get towards this Friday. The first 12, 6 p.m., 73 degrees, falling off to 68 by 9, 20% coverage of showers and potentially a few storms move into those early a.m. hours, but clearing out before our morning commute. But still, for the time being, it is definitely going to be those gloomy conditions. Our chief meteorologist, Matt Laupon, out in the field this evening, tracking those gloomy conditions, but also has a very special event that's going on today that he'll walk us through. Matt, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, we're out here in West Tupelo this evening. Honestly, a couple things we're doing. Number one, enjoying what is probably overkill here when we start talking about jacket weather. You can see the skies above us. It is humid, but those are flat clouds. Not a lot of vertical development there. One of those signs that we are probably going to be dealing with a very limited chance for rainfall now. But I do expect as more moisture starts to come in the next couple of days, that will eventually fuel more in the way of showers and thunderstorms. But while things are dry, and even though the season doesn't feel like it, we're over here at Tupelo Smiles in West Tupelo. The reason for that, number one, they've been an amazing partner with us here on Mississippi Live Weather since the very beginning. In fact, I think we were about a week and a half in when they first started pairing up with us here. But we're here because tonight they're doing something that they do every year. And one of the things we try our best to focus on are people that work to build up the community. And that's what they most certainly do. Dr. Kenny, just thank you so much for joining us here. What are we doing tonight?
So every year we adopt some children from the Salvation Army Angel Tree, and we try to select those angels and give back to the community in that way. We try to be charitable and remember this is a time of blessings, and we are so blessed with all the people we get to take care of here, and so we try to give back to that, to the community as we can with people that have blessed us.
Absolutely. So I have to point out the fact that y'all are in the Before Thanksgiving Club, which is absolutely okay, because this is the time we do need to be thinking about, I know we do the story every year, like there's so many angels still left on the tree. Yeah. Now is the time, while we're planning ahead, not just for, purchasing for our families. I know my family is very, very blessed, yours as well. We are. That there are children that do go without very simple things. And yes, that's part of what we're doing tonight, is to shop for these children, right?
Yeah, so we've got these three angels that we're ready to take part of our team, and we're going to make it a fun event where we all go together and help select some neat stuff for these kids. It's going to be a good time.
It is, and I'm just so thankful to be partnering with folks like you that are invested in, making the community better. I mean, because it's We think, and sometimes that, that it's got to come from a different level, but it really has to come from us. We are God's hands and feet, and trying to make our community better. So thank you guys so much for doing this for, years and years, letting me come along tonight.
Well, we've had patients that have thanked us for working together with you because of how important you are in the community and how life-saving information gets out to Thaxton, Mississippi, and places where our patients come from. And so my patients literally thank me for partnering with you. So I
appreciate
glad to get to do that. Yeah, well,
I promise that wasn't rehearsed.
No.
I guess I have to have a reverse check in the mail on that one.
But we're so thankful, and we're glad to get to work with you. And this is just another great way to give back to the community.
It is. This is what the Christmas spirit is about. Giving, not receiving.
Yeah.
Dr. Kenny, thank you so much for partnering with us.
Absolutely.
And it is a beautiful evening to do that before the rain, before the weather starts getting more active, Gabe. Again, as you mentioned, rain chances are getting a little bit better later this week and a lot better by Friday. I know you're looking ahead at that extended forecast as well, right?
Exactly, Matt, and thank you to Tupelo Smiles as well. I want to give my gratitude to him as well, but also big shout out to Matt for just walking us through that forecast out in the field. Matt, we'll talk to you later tonight at 6. You take it easy until then, okay?
Okay.
All right, sounds good. So we're going to bring it back here to the Room to Room Weather Center. What we're talking about is rain chances. And rain chances right now, a little bit few and between. I mean, it's not really much happening here in North Mississippi. But we're going to have to swap radar sites to really get a visual on what's happening. And that's going to be jumping up here towards Memphis, where we're getting a better view at some of these storms out here towards Missouri. And as you can see, already issuing those severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 5:45 this evening. But that's primarily going to be the boot heel of Missouri right there on the southeast corner, extending into northwest Tennessee. Still a ways away from us here in North Mississippi. If we track that out there from DeSoto County, we're talking 124 miles. So this isn't exactly a threat that we're expecting will impact us. But this line of showers and storms that is already starting to develop, if we look at the past couple of scans, that's going to be the big driver in our forecast moving forward. Because if you look at this trend, we are talking about it inching closer and closer to us here on the far northeast side of Mississippi. So I'm going to go behind the scenes right here and showcase a little bit on that path. And I'm going to have to put this on now, go to that leading edge, and of course draw this out. And I'm going to go all the way to those green blips as well. I mean, let's see, we're going to have to do, hang on one second. I might have to do it over there later on in the show, but we are going to be tracking that out all the way into North Mississippi as that line extends further. But I mean, it's still over 100 miles away, so it's not expecting to produce an immediate impact right now. So looking at that severe weather risk, it's primarily up there in northwest Tennessee, southeast Missouri, and southern Illinois. Over here in North Mississippi, we don't have anything, and we're still a good bit of a ways away from that level 1 risk. The primary threat that we're watching is a few rumbles of thunder, maybe some small hailstones, and some decent outputs of rainfall. Even extending into the tornado risk, still far away from us here in North Mississippi for our Tuesday. And we walk through each one of those risks. Damaging wind, not going to be a threat either. And that hail, the potential, but that's what these storms are producing right now. It's going to be those large hailstones there towards Sikeston, Missouri, and Cape Girardeau over there in Missouri as well. But again, not here in North Mississippi. We're still a couple of states away, and let's hope it remains that way. But we are watching this threat as it moves further east and southeast over the next few hours. Our Mississippi Live Weather Radar surface analysis definitely has that frontal boundary. That's the big driver in our forecast. All those showers and storms that are forming along that leading edge, that's where we're going to be watching for the potential for some inclement weather. As you see right there, the severe thunderstorm watch is in place already up until 10 o'clock this evening, but that's again primarily for northwest Tennessee, right where that level 2 severe weather risk remains in place. So here in North Mississippi, luckily, I think we're just out of those possibilities for some strong storms. Let's bring it back here to the Magnolia State to get a better visual on these storms as they inch closer and closer into those overnight hours. So you see that leading edge, how these continue to build all the way into Little Rock with that moisture gradually climbing, getting into our late afternoon and early evening hours of our Tuesday. Into the 10 o'clock hour, a few of these storms definitely getting a little bit more intense. So that's where we could see some more severe weather development over there towards northern Tennessee. But watch how they get closer to North Mississippi and just kind of dissolve away. Not going to be anything too significant working its way through the region. And if you look at these in a little bit more detail, you can definitely get a visual on these are not going to have the same lift that they were seeing earlier on. A big driver in that forecast is the amount of energy that we're seeing in North Mississippi, not even comparable to what they're getting in Missouri and Tennessee right now. So continuing to be a much calmer forecast down here in North Mississippi, and that'll even be the case towards our Wednesday morning, but that's not the end of the rain chances. No, it's just the start. We have more moving in by the afternoon. As you can see, 63 degrees for the start, climbing into the low 80s once again. So if you've been enjoying the warm weather, you get another day of it for your Wednesday, but then rain chances return back to the forecast, around 20% chances there around 6. We'll be walking through that in more detail coming up here from the Room to Room Weather Center in just a couple of minutes. But we're also going to be walking through the rain chances in its entirety, all the way through Friday, and how that could impact our football games. And speaking of, go vote for our Mississippi Live Weather Game of the Week, a tight one for sure, and your vote could be the one that matters. So go ahead and make your nominations today. And a big thank you to everybody for making that possible. Counting down the days to Friday as playoff action does continue, but we're counting down in the next 60 seconds for when Mississippi Live Weather at 5 continues. Stay with us to find out more on those rain chances coming up after the break.
Ask a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog, but she's little.
Do you have any unlocked guns around the house?
We do have a gun, but it's stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access. Appreciate you asking.
Yeah, of course.
By the time you see the symptoms of lung cancer, it could be too late. Now there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early. If you smoked, get scanned.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
So the theme of our Tuesday is the calm before the storms. Literally overnight, the potential for storms moves in place. But as of right now, we are tracking those all the way up into Missouri with those severe thunderstorm warnings happening around Sikeston and Cape Girardeau as we get closer to that 5:15, 5:30 hour. I'm going to take this over to analysis mode here real quick, so it might see a little bit of a shift in what you're seeing on your screen right now. But as we get further into this forecast, I'm going to track out this entire line of storms because this is something that we need to be paying attention to as we get further into those overnight hours, because the potential for it to move into North Mississippi is a realistic possibility. At the severity, the same severity, I don't think so. I think we're just going to primarily see rain chances. So I might have to edit this behind the scenes. Let me take it out. Or we're going to have to go way in advance. Okay, sweet. Okay. Let me draw this out. So I'm gonna have to clear this real quick and draw this and then take it over. We're gonna talk about 30 miles an hour or so. That might not take it all the way just because it does have a little bit of an easterly direction, but we will see this gradually build into those overnight hours. So this is something we're continuing to monitor, but I don't know if we're gonna get a great visual on this. You know what, I think we can take it. Let's go up to a good bit of a ways away. And as you can see, primarily going to remain north, but some of this back building out there towards Arkansas could pose a threat for us as we get into those overnight hours. So the realistic possibility that not these storms necessarily, but some of these that build back towards northern Arkansas does move into North Mississippi, getting into those overnight hours. Luckily, not going to be at the severity that we are seeing right now with severe thunderstorm warnings in place. I do want to say that these severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place until 5:45 for Missouri, those primary threats are going to be some gusty winds as well as large hail. The tornado threat is there, but it's a non-zero tornado threat, meaning we're not overly high on those outputs. The primary thing is going to be some of those large hailstones that could be produced from these supercells that are developing over there in Missouri right now. So if we keep that forecast going, of course, that severe weather risk that is in place for our Tuesday is a level 2 out of 5, and that is going to be primarily for northwest Tennessee, just north of Dyersburg, and well into that Missouri boot heel. Now, if we look at those individual risks, you can see tornado risk does get into Dyersburg and Camden and Nashville, but only a level 1 out of 5 whenever it comes to those severe weather risk areas. So that's a good thing because it means it's a non-zero chance. It's not exactly overly high, but the potential is there if one of these were to get the right spin and the right energy, could produce a strong storm, but a very brief tornado at that. Damaging wind, not the highest concern with this. It again is going to be those large hailstones that are expected to be produced with a few of these storms. You look at that level 2 risk, and there's those warnings right there in Sikeston. So lining up exactly how the Storm Prediction Center thought, and same thing with us here at Mississippi Live Weather. Expected this to remain north, has done so as we've gotten into these Tuesday late afternoon, early evening hours, and we expect that to continue to be the case into any of those evening plans. So day planner this evening, remaining dry, remaining calm, but still remaining remaining pretty gloomy. 72 degrees by 7, falling off to 68 degrees by 9. That is well above average for this time of year, and we don't cool off much more than where things sit at about that 9 o'clock hour. All right, what we're going to get into here real quick is, of course, Futurecast. We've seen this plenty of times, but we've added an element called CAPE, or our energy, that allows for these storms to take place. And as you can see, a lot of energy up there towards Missouri and Illinois and northwest Tennessee. You watch how this goes over the next couple of hours and how that energy remains in place, but into those overnight hours, when that sun sets, our heating looks a little bit different, and that's where we lower our energy that we do have in the atmosphere for some of these storms to take place. That's a good thing. We don't want storms to happen. And so the more that goes down is definitely, it's a positive moving into that extended forecast overnight. So you do see how this line of energy does get well into the Little Rock area. That's why this line does build a little bit more towards that southwest direction. And we do get a pretty defined output of a line of showers and storms that do develop. I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but zooming in, you can get some of those hues of green that are in the background, well, from Conway to Newport to Jonesboro. That's going to be 8 p.m. on your Tuesday. Now, bringing it back here on this wide perspective, just pay attention to those bright yellows that move across the Little Rock area. That's where we could see the potential for a few storms and maybe even strong storms overnight. But look at the difference. I mean, the outputs down here, you're seeing a little bit of lift with those yellows and reds showing up. But look at it compared to what they're getting around Nashville and Clarksville over there in Tennessee. Some of those deeper storms that are showing up, or at least the higher part of our legend showing a higher lifting mechanism, that's what's happening up there towards the north as their energy and their atmosphere is a little bit more primed. Down here in the Magnolia State as well as Arkansas, not exactly going to be as primed as folks up there. So that line will work its way into North Mississippi closer to that midnight hour. We're talking DeSoto and Tate County, the first to see it, as it does have that northeast to southwest orientation working its way east-southeast. Let's keep that forecast going, and as we get more into that 2 o'clock hour, look at the difference in energy. We're not talking about high outputs whatsoever. A lot of this does dissolve away, and even with that, the storm is not exactly interacting with that energy that is left. It's working its way ahead of the energy, so we're not expecting much in regards to anything when it comes to strong storms. We are expecting maybe a few rumbles of thunder at most, but really just some decent rainfall outputs as that line works its way through. By the time we get towards that 5 and 6 o'clock hour, dissipates out almost completely with a few light showers left behind. And as we get into the start of our Wednesday, things definitely trending in the right direction, fortunately, and we'll get to enjoy that all day long for our Wednesday. But low temperatures, we do know it'll be a cloudy forecast overnight with a little bit of rainfall here and there. That helps to trap the heat that we do have here on the ground, and therefore our temperatures don't cool off nearly as much. We're talking 64 New Albany, 63 in Tupelo, and 63 Starkville. Out west, 65 Greenville and 64 in Cleveland. To give you perspective, our normal low temperatures are in the mid-40s. We're mid-60s for the start of our Wednesday. So whoever ordered the microwave for our forecast, hey, it's working. It's keeping us pretty warm whenever we're talking about the grand scheme of things. School bus forecast, 63 around pickup, 81 drop-off. I usually say, we still need the long sleeves towards pickup. 63 degrees may not even require it. I would think that some of us could get away with some short sleeves heading out the door tomorrow morning, and we'll definitely get to enjoy that all day long. I walked my wife out to the car this morning, and I looked at her and I was like, this is the perfect forecast. I don't feel anything. I don't feel too hot, too cold. I did have a sweatshirt on, but it felt good. So honestly, I'm not complaining about this forecast at all. I do want colder air at some point, but for a couple days stretch in November, it's definitely a nice break from what we typically expect this time of year. All right, bringing it back here to our normal Futurecast mode because, we've tracked the energy with these storms overnight. Let's go ahead and see what's going to be taking place for the rest of our Wednesday. So as you can see, that cold front working its way through the region, but watch how it slightly transitions more to a stationary front. That stationary front remaining right over the top of us, a slow-moving frontal boundary that allows for some lift to still be in the atmosphere, and with that little bit of moisture, we do have the potential for some light showers, some isolated showers, a realistic possibility for the latter part of our Wednesday. So have that rain gear on standby, but it's going to be a little bit of a hit or miss type forecast. That's not going to be affecting everybody, but a few general locations as we get into that afternoon time frame, and that daytime heating builds back into the forecast. So as you can see right here, 4 p.m. right along that stationary front, getting some of those showers and thunderstorms to develop towards Cleveland and Greenville. That's of course 4 p.m. on your Wednesday, and this line gradually builds further into Greenwood and Grenada, closer to I-55 by 5 o'clock, and we continue to see that develop into those late afternoon, early evening hours into whatever Wednesday plans we may have. Midweek services, definitely tracking the potential for those out there towards Greenville and Winona, but keeping an eye on that in the grand scheme of things as we work our way into our Wednesday. This is off. I need to fix that. This is high temperatures for Wednesday, not for Tuesday. Apologize about that. It's going to be 80 degrees in Bruce, 80 in Columbus, 79 Louisville, 82 Greenwood, and 82 around Belzona. Definitely a toasty one for sure, but we'll get to soak in as much of these toasty temperatures as we can as we get into the rest of our work week. Now watch Futurecast, this stationary front remaining right over the top of us, allowing for additional showers and thunderstorms to be produced by 10 o'clock, but this line working its way north, so that's going to affect folks closer to Highway 6, closer to the Tennessee state line as this boundary does lift up and out of our area. Now, as we get into our Thursday, we're definitely tracking increased rain chances because you see this mass of showers and storms that are out there towards Texarkana and eastern Texas. Watch how this builds right along that warm front into North Mississippi by the time we get towards our Thursday afternoon. I do want to say our strike model doing a good job on the positioning of this. A lot of the main stuff will remain up there towards the Tennessee state line around DeSoto County into Corinth, working its way through the region, but as we are tracking on some model runs, carrying it a little bit more south, so more folks could be affected closer to Highway 6, not working its way too far south, but the chances are definitely higher north of 6. Towards the afternoon, chances do continue with some light showers still in our area. That'll continue to remain in place into those overnight hours as well, making way for a pretty soggy Friday. And to give you a little perspective on what to expect, there you go. All of this out there towards Texas and Oklahoma, building into North Mississippi by Friday, and there's your rain chances really increasing by the time we get towards those Friday afternoon, Friday evening plans, and of course, those Friday night football games. High temperatures for your Thursday, 80 degrees Houston, 81 in Bruce, 81 in Greenwood, and 76 towards Senatobia. It is still going to be well above average, but luckily, some of those showers should make it a little bit cooler. Friday, chances at 50% right now. Could see that climb even more as we inch closer to Friday, but then those chances dissipate out by Saturday and really by Sunday, but more chances on the horizon towards Monday, towards Tuesday, as our next frontal boundary pushes in place. So as we track the next couple of days, you do see rain chances in the forecast, but temperature-wise, it does get better. 80 degrees Thursday, of course, warm, but 76 Friday, 74 by Saturday, and into the weekend, we're back into the low 70s for our forecast. Unbelievable. We're saying back into the low 70s. It's just an abnormality that we're experiencing this much warmth for this long of a period of time. But towards next week, we do see our next frontal system push into the region. That's going to up those rain chances and also bring the possibility of some colder air to wrap up next work week and heading into our Thanksgiving holiday. We're continuing to keep eyes on that behind the scenes, but of course, this is a forecast that's a long ways out, so it's expected to change, and we'll keep eyes on that for what changes do occur and update you guys here on Mississippi Live Weather. All right, if you have not done so already, go ahead and download the Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available on iOS and Android. It is a great app, keeps my family informed, and I know it will for yours as well. So go ahead and give it a download, and a big thank you to everybody for your support, and a big thank you to everyone in chat. Love getting to see all the folks saying hey, hello. We just appreciate you guys more than you know, and I hope that you guys are having a terrific Tuesday. Speaking of, I see one person said, hey Gabe and Matt. If you missed Matt at the top of the broadcast, he'll be back here tonight at 6, showing us a live look outside, but also showing us a spectacular event that's going on that gives back to the community. He'll be showcasing that a bit more at the 6 o'clock hour. Our next broadcast, well, I mentioned it, 6 o'clock this evening, but we'll be back at 10 o'clock tonight for the latest on those conditions here in North Mississippi. And don't forget our morning show, always available during those weekday mornings at 6:30, 7, and 7:30 with meteorologist Maggie McCauley.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laupon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laupon has proven himself trustworthy